Welcome back to Saturday Crafts and the next episode of making the AI dog caddy. A couple of things to tell you and show you before we get into it. First of all, I'd like to show you my latest gadget that I got. It's probably familiar to other people, but it wasn't to me. It's a whole set of them. I'll just get one out. And they were really helpful with doing this week's work. It is a bent tip wool needle. And it is so helpful. I actually waited until these came in the mail before I sewed up the gusset on the caddy. That's this piece around here. It was so helpful because it got the end away from my work. Yeah, heaps of a time saver. I did the whole gusset all the way around and way less time. The only thing I didn't say last week is when you get to here, you need to make the decision on whether the pocket goes to the side of the tail or it goes in. I've decided with mine, I've left this last bit because I'm going to finish the tail and then I'm going to sew the gusset up so the tail's coming out of the pocket. That way I don't have to do a butthole, but you know, you get that. So just remember that when you're sewing your gusset up. I've just put a little surface knot there. I don't know if you can see that, but there's a little surface knot there, and I've left a long bit of string just to be able to finish that up. In sewing up, I also, was it two or three? Looks like it was all over the place. All right, I didn't do that very well. Try and make these the same height. That way your buttons are easy to put on. But I did do the same at the bottom. It's 3 rows up from the corner all the way around. Just because we've got to put the legs. We've got to put the legs on the bottom. So we needed some actual base to be able to sew to. What else did I do? I also sewed this on. The, what do you call it? The under chest piece. And I sewed it on with sewing thread, and I only sewed it on the back loops, which we did the top last week with. That way I've got the front loops to secure the chest piece on, which is what we're making today. So that's the stuff I got done last week. And all the pockets work really good. They fit things in them quite well. So I'll just move that out the way. I also made the head. I'm going to do this as a separate episode because there's quite a lot of shaping on this piece. You will need to find some black because the nose is quite large. If you look on the picture that should be up now, yeah, the nose is quite large, so I actually started the rows with that and then I went to the body colour. We've also got these pieces that we put on under the safety eyes. We will be doing some soft sculpture on these so that they go in and back a little bit, and that'll tip the nose up a bit, look a bit more like the picture. But I think the head's turned out rather well. The thing we're going to make today is this piece, and I actually broke the head piece into 2 parts because you can't get the shape you want. Well, I couldn't get the shape I want with it as one part. So this part here will sit on here and cover this up. And I'll tell you in a minute how to work this. This will get sewn onto here, and it's going to be very tight because mine is square. If we had a round thing, it would be a little bit easier. It's doable, but it will be very tight. And we're going to be sewing it to all the front loops that we left all the way around the edge, and then for this edge we will just whip stitch it to this edge. This is why this was a good idea, because it's got holes in it. I did think ahead a little bit. And I've also left a decent amount of this yarn attached to here because we won't know until we stuff this how high we need the neck to be. I mean, this will stretch out quite a bit. This will be in the pattern today. And this will become his chest and neck, and then we will sew the head on where we want it. You can't really see that, can you? Let's go like that. So you can turn his head, you can have him looking down. This gives you more option with it as 2 pieces. That was my plan. So all that done, let's get into doing our crochet for today. So if you actually see these, great investment. Not very much money either. Just look for bent tip sewing needles, wool sewing needles. All right, so we put that away. I'm going to be making this one in this green. It's the same thickness as the brown, but I'm going to be pulling it out, and I thought the green might show up a little bit better. So first thing you do is that we need to work out our stitch count to start. Now, I counted up all the stitches from this corner all the way around to this corner, and then I used my measuring tape to measure how big this part was. So that is 13. And then I went to the side here and counted how many stitches was in 13 centimeters. And that is my chaining to start, because that will fit one for every stitch that's around here plus enough for here. So my starting chain, so we're going to write this down so you can see. We're going to call this the neck and chest piece. And there's, I don't know how many parts. I didn't number them. Not many parts. First thing we want to do, now this is my number. Yours might be different. Make sure you do your counting and working out. So I'm going to write my number here. You need to make sure that it's yours. So step 1, mine is chain 78, right? That's what we're going to do first. So we get our piece of string, yarn, not string, make a slip knot, and I will start chaining. We should all know what chaining is now. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. All right, so we are back, and here is my chain. Now the next thing you want to do is you want to join this up with a slip stitch. And the way we do this is you can go from bottom to top or top to bottom, really doesn't matter, but you want to go under the 2 V's and hold the string on the other hand and just pull it through like that. Make sure you haven't got a twist. Double check. Yes, that's correct. Now, I am going to chain 1, because what I'm going to do, I'm going to work into the back bumps. Now, if you don't know what the back bumps are, if you can see it, there's all little V's along here. We turn that over, there's these little bumps at the back of every V, and that's what we're going to go in. So we're going to put 1 single crochet. Now, do I have a stitch marker before we go any further? Yes, I do, on my emergency stash on my bracelet. So we just put a marker here. Now we are going to be working in a spiral, so we need to know where our first stitch is. So you must keep replacing that every time we go past it. And we just put 1, without splitting the stitch, 1 single crochet in each back bump, and this will be our first row. Okay, so I'll just write that down. So we joined with a slip stitch, then we chained 1. We want to turn, work, and I'll put here no twists. You got to check, no twists. Turn, work to work in back bumps into back bumps. SC, which is your single crochet all around. And right, we'll go from there. We'll also put place marker in first stitch. All right, so we're going to do that, like I said, into the back bumps. What this will do is it will give you a nice edge to sew onto this with. It'll give you the V's, which gives you 2 strands to secure it better. You can work into the side of the chain, but it sometimes makes the chain a bit short. Working into the back bumps allows you to even out your tension a bit. At least that's what I have found. So I will just do this, and I'll be back when I get back to the first single crochet, and I'll show you how to make it into a spiral. All right, I'm back again, and I somehow have managed to get a twist in it, and I was going to take it out, but then I thought I could show you what you can do, especially with this one. Now, you can't really see it, but the twist is right there, and we need to work into there. So I made sure it was like this, that I did all of the back bumps up to here, and then we tightly turned it over. It's just going to make it a little bit tight there. That is all. Now, we are not joining with a slip stitch. We're going to pinch that down and do a new stitch, and that makes it into a spiral. We made sure we hadn't missed any. It does make that a bit loose because it has the chain 1 in there. But now we're ready to go on our next row. So that is skip, marker, and SC into first stitch to make spiral. Place the marker back. Right, so now we got 2. Our next thing we're going to do is we want to single crochet 5, and then we want to do a single crochet decrease, and then we're going to go like this because we want to repeat it all the way around. That's my symbol to say I'm doing the whole thing all the way around back to where we started. So that's what that means on my terminology. So we're going to do that. So that's our first stitch. So we had 5. So that's 2, 3, 4, and 5. Now for a single crochet decrease, this is a amigurumi decrease, which is you go under the front loop of the next 2 stitches and pick up a loop. So we now have 3, and then we pull them together. What that does is the back loop that you're not using falls in and fills that hole, so you don't end up with big gaps in your work. So we do it again. So we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5, and we'll do another decrease, 1 from each of the next 2, but the front loops only. And that's what we're going to do that all the way around, and I will be back when I am back to here again. Alrighty-o, we're back again. Now remember, this is going to look a bit off because we're now working in a spiral. That's why that one looks lower. So we've put all our decreases in. So this bit we're going here. So we're coming in to make the top of the chest and the neck. It'll make like a funnel shape, which is what we want, so that it does look like a chest a bit. So we've done that. So the next thing we're going to do, and it's quite an easy one, this one. So number 3, this one is SC all the way around. That's all we do on this row. Make sure you move your stitch marker, do the stitch without splitting it, put the stitch marker back when you can keep a hold of it. Right, so nothing fancy on this round. We don't want it to decrease in too quickly because we want a funnel shape. We don't want it to be flat. So we have to put a few single crochet rows in so that it comes up a bit like a funnel. while I do this, I also wanted to say I have noticed that there's a lot of people watching and you're not subscribed. I don't mind that. I mean, it means that I'm doing something people like to watch. But if you are able to subscribe, that would be great. It doesn't cost you anything and you're under no other obligation. All it does is it lets you know when I do a new one. But it also makes it so other people can see it. So if you could subscribe, and if you like and share it, that'd be even better. But subscribing would help. And I'm only going to say this once, so don't feel annoyed with me. So I will come back when I have done this whole row in just single crochets, and we'll go on to the next one. All right, next row. We just finished this row, so it's number 4. And for this one, we are single crochet. Yeah, we're going to do the decrease first, and then we want to single crochet 4. Put a bracket around that. We are repeating all the way around. So the way we do this, our first stitch is going to be a single crochet decrease. So under that one, under the front loop, pick up a stitch. Under the next one, under the front loop, pick up a stitch, pull through all 3. Make sure you put the stitch marker back, and then we want to do 4. So that's 1, 2, 3, and 4. So that's our first repeat. What we do when we change where in the instructions the increasing and decreasing are, as you notice, the first one, it was singles and then the decrease, and then it's decrease and then the singles. It shifts where the bump is so that it doesn't make a line, or it doesn't make as obvious a line. Sometimes you might, so like if I'm doing one and I've got a lot, so say 5, what I might do is I'll do single crochet 2, then do the decrease, and then do single crochet 5, but then right at the end I'll say single crochet 3, so you end up with the 5 connected to the first one, but it's shifted where the decrease falls, and then the bumps don't line up. It's just a way to help shape, you know, to create shapes within your work. See, like that was the first one, and the next one's moved over a bit. If I had done it the other way, it would have been going this way. Hopefully that makes sense. I was trying to explain how you shape your crochet. And now we've got another decrease. Yes, we do. It's 1 and 2 front loops only, so that the back loops drop down. And then 1, 2, 3, and 4. So you might be able to start seeing it if I lay it out. It's starting to come in a little bit, which is what we want. So I will carry on around here. So for the next 2 actual, each one of these is going to be separated by a single crochet. What I might do, I'll write this next one down, which will be just single crochet all the way around. So I will finish this and this before I come back. So we'll be up to row 6 when I come back. So I'll go like that, ready to go for row 6. And yes, the cat has woken up. Right, I am back. I've done row 5, which has the decreases, and row 6. And I forgot to say earlier, I'm still using the 4mm tulip that we've done the rest of the dog with. This yarn, while it's not the brown, it is the same brand of yarn and the same ply, so yours would look similar. And also these decreases, they would work for other numbers. You just may need to do them more times, or you may have 1 or 2 left over. So hopefully yours is fairly similar to 78. If it's a 1 or 2 out, you would have to work out what you have left over just to make it evenly around. I can't help with that. 78 is what I had with this hook and this yarn and my container. Yeah, I can't help more than that. Hopefully you are able to get a similar number. So we've done that. those two are done. So our next one is, done that. Next one is single crochet times 3, single crochet decrease in brackets, and then we're going to repeat that all the way around. And then you know what's coming next is a row of single crochet all the way around. So once again, honestly, making a funnel is one of the simplest shapes to do. We do our first stitch as normal because we're not putting the decrease on the first stitch this time. And we do, that was 1, this is 2 and 3. And then once again, front loops of the next 2 stitches and then pull through the lot. And that is our repeat that we're going to repeat all the way around. 2 and 3, and then decrease the next one. So I will be back when I've done this row and done the plain row, and I think we have one more after this, and then we do something different for a change. All right, we are back. We've done these two, and now so the next one is the last one of this kind of shaping. And so that is, we have enough room down the bottom. I'll shift this up a little bit. This is 8, and it is single crochet decrease, and then single crochet times 2, repeat around, and then 9 is our normal single crochet all the way around. But we want to do this 3 times. So it's 3 rows. So it's actually 9, 10, and 11. So we'll go to 11. So that gives us the beginning of this upwards, because there's no shaping. It'll start going straight up. So we do that one. Right, we'll do that. I will be back when I have done that, and we will do the last instruction. We are nearly finished. This is nearly done. I know it doesn't look like it, but once I do those 3 rows, you'll start seeing it. All right, I'm done that. That is our 3 rows, and if I sit it down like this, you can see it's come up quite a bit, which is great. So now we've only got 2 rows left to do. So that was 9 to 11. So row 12 is, we want to single crochet times 10, and then comma, single crochet decrease, and then we repeat all the way around. Now from my numbers, starting with the 78, at this point I had 30 stitches on my count, and then after that we just do 2 rows SC all the way around. Okay, so that is after that. So this is 13, just about run out of room. So I'm not going to show you those now because it's just a repeat of what we've been doing. But what you can do with that afterwards, once it's made this kind of shape, is you can actually sew this on. Now, first thing I would do before that, sew your buttons on, especially these 3. I really should have done it before I did that, so you know, don't make my mistakes. But you can glue these on afterwards if you forget. I will be sewing them, but I'll be doing it before I do this one on. But once I have done that, way I'm going to do mine is make sure you put this inside. Put this inside so you don't end up getting tangled. I'm going to have my starting one right here on this corner, because I know I can go stitch for stitch, matching all the way around to here, and then what's left I can stretch out to become here. And then you can also stuff in here. Now we want enough stuffing that the neck won't fall forward and collapse. So this may bow a little bit. If you're worried about it, the only thing I could think of to do it is a pop stick, you know, one of the wooden sticks that they put in ice creams, or a short piece of wire, but make sure you secure it down, you know, sew over it or something so it stays in place, just to keep that firm. I probably won't do that, but you just got to watch when you're stuffing that you don't push down too hard. You want to push out rather than down, and you want to bring this so it comes up off the bottom. It will take you a while. Take your time sewing them on, and just over sew with a wool needle. So you're picking up the loop we left here, and if you can get both of these loops, that's why we did the back bump, that would be great. It just makes it a bit more of a secure join. And then you just work your way around, stretching it out to where you need it, and then to there, and you should have enough along here just to over sew along the edge. You may need to do this one with sewing thread because of the felt on the bottom. You need to be able to get through, and you need to be able to get through these holes which a wool needle doesn't get through with wool on it. So this edge will probably have to be with sewing machine thread or hand sewing thread, whereas the rest can all be the wool because you're only going in the loops. And I think that'll do for today. If we get all this done this week, we will make the head next week. I will have refined out the pattern. I'll move this over, so where are we? Right there. So that you can zoom in and write it all down. And so with the head, we start at the nose and we work to the back here. And we also do these little teardrops, like I said at the beginning. And I think it has worked out pretty similar to the way it is in the picture. I'm quite happy with it. I do have a little blip there, but I might leave that there. Dogs sometimes have freckles. That was me not changing colour at the right time, but you'll do it right. Learn from my mistakes. And so that's all for today. Hope it was all clear. If you've got any questions at all, just put them in the comments, or you can go across to the Discord. I will put a link to that in the description box. The only things we've added this week, we're not doing this one yet, so actually we haven't added anything. We're just finishing off what we did last week and making the neck piece, our sombrero hat without a top. All right, and I will see you next time.